Welcome back to the next session. Mr. Hancock here. Let's do a mental warm-up by recapping some content from last time. Pause the video to attempt the multiple choice questions and press play to reveal the answers. Like before, the purple text highlights the correct answers. Hopefully, many of you managed to get 4 out of 4. If you did drop a mark or two, it would be worth adding the correct information to your notes from last time. Are you ready? Let's begin the new learning. We'll be continuing to look at Changing Economic World, with the focus being the red highlighted section on the screen. Don't forget, you will need a pen and paper, and this time a pencil, rubber and a ruler will be useful as well. When you see this symbol on the screen, it means there's a reading opportunity, and this symbol means there'll be a writing opportunity. Pause the video whilst you write down the focus. There are 3 key ideas to consider. Number 1, what is the demographic transition model? Number 2, what links the demographic transition model with development? And number 3, countries at different stages of development. As in previous sessions, you can watch the video in conjunction with the digital textbook on the Caboodle platform. The access details this time are shown on the screen. We will be making use of pages 198 and 199. Press pause whilst you add the first of the 3 key ideas. What is the demographic transition model? This extract explains the demographic transition model. It refers to diagram A, which I've included in miniature on the right. Don't worry, we'll take a closer look at diagram A in a few moments. For now, we need to deal with a few of the key terms included in the main text. The definitions are shown in the yellow boxes. Pause the video to make your own revision notes and press play when you're ready. Press pause whilst you add the second of the 3 key ideas. What links the demographic transition model with development? When you first see this model, it can seem a bit daunting, but don't worry, we'll break it down into chunks and I'm sure you'll be fine. Across the top of the model, we can see stages 1 to 5, with each number representing what's happening to the population at that stage. The y-axis on the left-hand side represents births and deaths per 1,000 people per year and ranges from low to high. The x-axis on the bottom is in chronological order, with the oldest time period on the left and present day being on the far right, all in terms of the UK's history. As ever with diagrams like this, the key is critical. Study this, paying careful attention to what the colours represent. The diagram also provides modern-day examples underneath the x-axis that could be learned and quoted in exam situations. The final part of the diagram is at the bottom. These are the all-important characteristics of each of the 5 stages. So let's have a look at what all this means stage by stage. Stage 1. This is based on the UK's population back in before 1760. We can see the black line, which is total population, is very low. Both the birth rate, which is the purple line, and the death rate, which is the blue line, are both high and they're fluctuating, meaning there's no significant natural change in population. It remains low. Stage 2 is described as early expanding. Here we can see the birth rate remains high, but significantly the death rate is decreasing sharply, possibly due to things like better diets and better healthcare. This causes the total population line to increase. We can also see the space between the birth rate and the death rate line is shaded in orange, which represents a natural increase in population size. Stage 3 is known as late expanding. The death rate line is still decreasing, but it has slowed down. The important factor here is the birth rate has started to drop rapidly. This will be because of the availability of birth control and women beginning to have the choice to pursue careers and start a family at a later stage. Note the gap between the birth rate and the death rate is still orange, meaning natural increase. And as you'd expect, the total population is still rising, but not quite as fast as in stage 2. Stage 4 is the low fluctuating stage. We can see the total population is high and stable. This is because the birth rate and the death rate are now both low but fluctuating. We can also see that the population is experiencing alternate periods of natural increase and natural decrease. Incidentally, this is the stage where we currently find the UK today. The final stage is stage 5, and this is known as natural decrease. This is the first stage where death rate regularly exceeds birth rate, meaning that we get a decrease in the total population. Note the gap between the birth rate and the death rate lines is blue, representing natural decrease. There aren't too many examples of this in the world, but Germany and Japan are the most noticeable countries. I'd like to draw your attention to what the text said earlier. This model is purely based on changes in birth and death rate. It completely ignores the population changes that happen because of migration. You may question how valid this makes the model in reality, but you still need to know about it. Now let's move on. Press pause whilst you add the third and final key idea: countries at different stages of development. This extract gives some more information about each of the 5 stages and uses some modern-day examples to help you. Some of this information would be a useful addition to your notes. Pause the video and restart when you're done. Right, let's have a go at applying this content to some activities. First off, activity 1. This is where you'll need that pencil and ruler that I mentioned earlier. Really take your time on this, as it's very, very important to get the diagram correct, and you must link the 5 stages with economic development, i.e. not very well developed, extremely well developed, and so on. Pause the video to copy down the question, and let's see how you get on. The mark scheme is not great for this activity, so you're better off comparing your diagram with diagram A from the textbook. The common mistakes I've seen in the past are when students get the birth rate, death rate, and the total population lines in the wrong places. Take a minute to check your diagram is correct, and resume the video when you're ready. Next up is activity 2. Pause the video whilst you copy down the question. Use your notes and what we've discussed in this video to help you write your response. Restart the video when you're ready to mark your work. The mark scheme gives a lot of detail. Is that what you wrote? If you got all of that, then well done. Some of you may need to pause the video again to improve your original response. Move on when you're ready. In Activity 3, we consider how death rate is linked to levels of development. Pause the video whilst you make a note of the question and then write your response. Restart the video when you need to see the mark scheme. Again, the mark scheme offers quite a lot of detail. If you need to make your response better, pause the video, and well done if you got all of that in your first attempt. This is the final main activity and certainly my favourite question so far. It really checks your knowledge and understanding as you apply it to a real-world example. Pause the video to copy down the question and write your response. Here's the mark scheme. Read through it and check that you have all of the main points. If you got all of that correct, then that's fantastic. I would imagine that some of you will need to pause the video and add to your response. Restart when you're ready. Here's the stretch yourself task. If you've been attempting these and wish to try this one, you will need to complete some internet research. Pause the video and restart it when you're ready to see the mark scheme. Otherwise, just let the video continue onto the practice exam question. Pause the video whilst you copy this 6-mark practice question. Use what you've learnt during this video to help you construct your response, and then resume the video to see the mark scheme. Note the command term is evaluate. This is becoming more and more common in recent years throughout the GCSE papers, so it's good to practice it. I would also recommend structuring your response around the 5 stages of the model. Here we go. Have a read of the bullet points and study the grey table, pausing the video as you do so. How did you get on? Decide what level your response deserves. If you need to improve your response based on the bullet points, then now's the time to do so, pausing and resuming the video when you're ready. We're nearly at the end of this video on the demographic transition model. If you feel you need to boost your understanding further, then take a look at the Cool Geography website for some additional materials. In the next video, we'll be investigating 3 causes of uneven development as highlighted here. Don't forget, you could do some flip learning and read ahead before watching the next video. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, goodbye.